our second heat race of the weekend. They will have their third later on, heading towards the early afternoon, as the senior Rotax line up in the waiting zone now, about to make their way out onto the course for their sighting lap in just a few moments' time. And we'll have a look how they line up in just a moment. The number 55 of Ethan Martin will be leading them away from Dugas Pravalonis in second place. Number 88, Lucas Ellingham, Armand Hamilton, Rachel Robertson and Peter Jurovic in sixth position. Position number 7 for James Verity from Alex Duncan, Sean Rashid and Leo Purchase 10th place. Michael Morgan, Kai Hunter in 12th place. And looking further down on the 7th row of the grid, the number 95 of Luke Bates from Jacob Bavoriak, Guy Cunnington, Alexander Adams Acton, Romami Anubi and Jack Spencer in 18th position. That's much like the juniors, a big grid of drivers going out. The first few laps are really important. King Garrity, who drove very well in the first round, in 19th on the grid from George Allen. Philip Rawson, Cassius Diath in 22nd. Caitlin Seabrook and Luca Osman Price in 24th position. And the final few positions on this busy grid here today: Ewan Richards, Jack Lilly, Alexander Cole, Jack Collins 28th, Al Kirby 29th, Joshua Burnett rounding out the top 30. And the final 3 drivers on the grid: Zav Chapman-Lewis, Ennis Alabju and Noah Osbaldeston rounding out the field in 33rd position. Much like the juniors, of course, Charlie, these guys were out racing yesterday for their first heat, and how did that go? So,
George Hunter actually took the win there he took the win by only a second, but made up 8 positions. So very brilliant driving there. The track was still wet and dry. It was a bit of a hit and miss. Watch out for drivers such as Tom Pryor, who made up 16 positions in the first heat to P5. Watch out for Leo Purchase. Sam Baker actually got the fastest lap of the session in Heat 1. Watch out for Ethan Martin, who we were talking about earlier. He made up 14 places to P13. So a lot of drivers to watch out for in this race. So definitely going to be one exciting one.
Yeah, they're looking for another very important first lap here with 33 drivers on the grid. We'll try and have a look at some of the midfield runners on the split screen as well, as you can see them making their way through the Dan Weldon complex and down the TKM straight. Drivers just getting some warmth in the tyres. The track's still a little bit treacherous, like we saw in the junior Rotax. There's good lines to be found out there, and it's down to the drivers to look and try and sort those out as they make their way through the Kimbolton corner. The grid now assembling. Last few drivers joining the back of the grid there. 33 drivers making their way out of the final corner. They line up in position. Looks like a good start. Over the line they go, charging down into Stowe in the first corner. You can see them already looking for the dry lines as Ethan Martin. There is a run round. Yep, you're quite right. So we'll have seen there. This is the start has been abandoned effectively then. So we're going to have another run round. The driver's not quite in position. Do you think that was the drivers almost possibly looking to get another lap out there?
Oh, I think actually you might have. Obviously, the front drivers the drivers at the front of the pack will definitely want to get as much heat as possible in those tyres before they storm down to turn 1. Because without that heat, you're going into turn 1 and you press the brake and you have no tyres. So
not much grip out there. So you can see it is starting to cloud over slightly. The rain not really expected to be a factor. We hope that's certainly the case. But as you see, the track's still looking a little bit slippery out there in places, and a bit of a shout out I think is certainly in order to one of our club sponsors for 2024, Ainsbury Plant Hire, who've been out with the road sweepers getting the marbles and any of the moss off the circuit ahead of this second round. So it's in perfect conditions, the track, but weather-wise still a little bit damp out there. So we're going to go again. Here they come out to the final corner of the grid now in position. Let's hope for a clean start. Here they come into the grid. Over the line they go, and charging down into the first corner. Looks like it's a clean start, and they pile into the first corner. Ethan Martin down the inside, but very close into turn 1.
Ethan Martin, our champion from last year. Oh, I think that was the top 2. He's actually made some contact there. I don't think we saw it on our screens. There's a driver spinning near the back of the pack. I can't see who that is. That's the 1. That's the 1-2-4. But I don't think that was on our screens, but Lucas Ellingham, who's had to take it to the grass, so he couldn't get it stopped. But Ethan Martin, who was our champion from last year, he's taken the lead of the race. And there's a driver going nearly off there. That's Kai Hunter in there as well on the inside. It's very much tangled toe through through the Dan Wilder complex, but Ethan Martin's managed to hold on, and he's taking the lead of the race. I think behind him, that's the 88. That's Divgus Praviolis. So he's driving a brilliant race there. That's Kai Hunter, who I think he's made up a lot of places actually. Kai Hunter has made up 9 positions on that first lap. There's Armin Hamilton, who's made it up to P4. There's one of our drivers from behind. That's Jack Spencer, who's definitely got some ground to gain if he wants to manage to get onto the back of this pack. But you can just see them all coming through the first sector. Brilliant driving by all these drivers to hold on that first lap, especially in these damp conditions. But yeah, Ethan Martin is holding his way. There's Kai Hunter, who's very much one of the strongest drivers in the Europe right now, trying to get onto the back of the 88. He's using all the curbs there to try and get the momentum out of the corner. He's going to go to the inside. Will he get it stopped on the apex? He's got, wow, but they've both gone off the track, and that was definitely to try and find some grip. So Kai Hunter into second place. The number 88 having to drop down a position. So, but watch out for Armin Hamilton, who's actually no, watch out for Lucas Ellingham actually, who's made it up to P4. He lost a position at the start of that heat, but he's definitely got some ground to gain. I can see him being up there near the end of the race.
Yeah, well, look at that as it goes on. So the man on the move there was the kart with GP on it there, Kai Hunter. Fastest lap of the race so far, 48.64. We've seen just how brave you have to be on the brakes to get the grip out there. Looking a little bit further down the top 10. That's Adam Zachta there, number 18, with Alex Duncan fighting for position through the Dan Weldon corner. You can see the grip, very important indeed. Alex Duncan there, 63, chasing with Peter Jurich in the number 57, close behind as they battle through into Kimbolton corner. Leaders going over the line, but you can see a little bit of nudging there as they make their way through. I think that's going to be just about on the fair side, who would say. Don't forget, of course, that it is still a little bit slippery out there.
That looked like Rachel Robinson having to really hold on to the 157 there. He was very much giving all the love taps he can give. But on your screens there was Armin Hamilton into the chicane. There's Adams Acton, who's made it through, and there's definitely started to pull a bit of a gap. Rachel Robinson just holding on behind, who's one of our females here this weekend. There's a lot of female drivers racing here this weekend, which is always brilliant to see. Females in motorsport is an ever-growing industry, and we hope to see more of them soon.
Yeah, always very good, and there's certainly some very top female drivers coming through the ranks, one of which, of course, is the number 56 of Rachel Robertson, who's holding it quite nicely in the top 10, fighting there with Jurich and Alex Duncan. A little bit further up at the front there, looking at the race leader, number 55, making his way, heading towards Derek Corner. Ethan Martin looking in great form, although he can't quite shake off Kai Hunter, who's just starting to pick away at that lead. Look at the GP in second place. Very distinctive kart there at the top of the circuit. There's the race leader, though, 55, Ethan Martin, through that Dan Weldon complex. Getting as much of the grip as he can as he makes his way down TKM straight all the time, though. Kai Hunter keeping that pressure on in second place. We just saw him drifting a bit wide, looking for the wider line going down into the Kimbolton corner, and that seems to have served him well. Again, just drifting wide out of the corners as we look a little bit further up towards Dan Weldon as well. Some of the midfield drivers there. Luke Osborne Price, Jack Collins in there, Ewan Richards, Alexander Cull, all fighting their way through at the top part of the circuit. Noah Boulderston starting to pick his way through the field as well after being cut adrift at the start. That battle heading down towards the final few corners, but Ethan Martin now coming under some real pressure from Kai Hunter, who's just looking for lines here as they make their way through Derek's corner. Could be lining something up here as they make their way up towards Dan Weldon, all over the back of Ethan Martin, the race leader, and squares the turn off quite neatly there, and Kai Hunter takes the lead.
Very much side by side going down into the second to last corner. There's Lucas Ellingham on your screens, looking for third position, if he can get it or not. There's the 88 who's just trying to hold on, but Kai Hunter's actually taken the lead there. So brilliant driving there by Kai Hunter, who's taken the lead. He's one of the only drivers out on circuit doing the 47s. So over a second quicker than any driver out on circuit, which very much blows my mind. And but Lucas Ellingham all over the back of Divgus Cravaliolis, trying to make his way through for that last podium spot.
Well, Kai Hunter looking in great form going back into the lead as we look at this battle towards the final half of the top 10. We saw, of course, Rachel Robertson earlier. He's losing a couple of places from the very impressive Alexander Adams Acton there. He is number 18, closely followed by the 342 of Armin Hamilton as they make their way Down the TKM straight, these drivers are battling for 5th position. Adam Zackton really the driver on the move right now as the leaders make their way over the line. The rest of the top 10 just coming through the Kimbolton corner, and further down the field they're fighting their way through the Dan Weldon complex there. Drivers further back there, Jacob Dvorak in there, Alexander Kuljurovic, Ewan Richards. I think Peter Jurovic actually on the 50s, in the 57, losing quite a few places on that last lap. One or two drivers coming to grief on the slippery conditions, but we really have seen some great fight-throughs there. We've got Philip Rawson as well, number 19. You'll see him on your graphic on the left-hand side in 11th place. Fought his way through to the midfield as we look at Alexander Adams-Hackton sitting there in 5th place. Got more laps to go here. And at the moment, the number 18 has put together, I think here, Charlie, quite a good, consistent race.
You can see the clear visor on Alex Adams-Hackton's helmet. You can really see the concentration in his eyes. Driving around this circuit is never not easy, so you very much have to be bullseye all the way through. But that's Lucas Ellingham on that MS chassis all over the back of the 88. Can he find a way through? We'll have to see. They've got just under 1.5 minutes left, but into Derek's corner, who's very much on the back. That's Kai Hunter on your screens, who's just gone. He's in the lead, but there's Lucas Ellingham all over the back. Will he be able to find a way through? He's going to search for the grip if he can.
He'll try to square the turn there, I think, isn't he, going down the TKM straight?
Yeah, he really is trying to get all the grip he can. There's a move. That's Rachel Robinson, who's gone in a bit deep. There's George Allen on your screens. Jack Collins, who's very much in the fight there in the middle of the pack. There's a bit of squabbling through Dan Weldon. And Lucas Ellingham, who's actually made it into the 3rd position. So brilliant driving there by Lucas Ellingham on that MS chassis to get through into the final podium spot as they come through the 1st sector. There's Ethan Martin on your screens, very much sliding the car on that braking zone. You can see the track is very much drying up. We're losing seconds out of the lap times now compared to how it was in the juniors. So this track is very much drying as quick as it possibly can, especially with these with the karts out on circuit. It will definitely play a massive part into how this track can heat up very quickly.
Yeah, the track really is starting. The lap time's really starting to tumble as right on cue there, the race leader Kai Hunter goes through just in time for the last lap ball to go. So he's timed that to perfection, 46.79. Looking a little bit further down the top 10, you'll see some of the drivers on your graphic there on the left-hand side. Philip Rawson has come through the field very nicely into 9th place. Jack Lilly in the number 33. Currently 11th place, making up 15 positions in this race so far. But the driver to beat has been the GP of Kai Hunter, who just makes his way through Derek's corner up towards the TKM straight. There's the 2nd place, number 55 of Ethan Martin in that Lando Norris kart, making his way down TKM straight for the final time as Kai Hunter makes his way into Kimbolton for the final time. There you see Martin just scrabbling for the grip as over the line the race winner is Kai Hunter. There's Ethan Martin in 2nd place, and it's going to be tight here with Ellingham in 3rd position. Yeah, it's always the first lap, a good strong first lap, always very important, especially in these rather tight heat races.